Good morning. Today is day 6, I do believe, early day 6 of retting for the flax. So instead of a 3-day ret, I went like a 6-day ret in the shade. Water was cool the entire time. And everything is looking really good. I've already done a whole bunch of rinsing. I've emptied my tank. And now just rinsing off everything. Most of the dead dry leaves have just kind of rotted away. It was all part of the retting process. And leaves the core and the finer fibers ready to pull out. And now I gotta rinse them and then just let them dry. And that's the whole process. So just rinsing the junk off. One of the things that I found interesting is during the first 4 days in the tank, the smell is really bad, and then the last day and a half, started getting a little mold on the top of the water, but most of the smell was gone. Not all of it, but the majority of the smell. And what I'm seeing is kind of a light translucency to the plant. And to me, that's kind of saying that it's ready to go. And so I'm just rinsing the junk out, and that'll stop any more. But I don't think there's any more retting that's going to take place at this point, at least not from the tank. And, some of my stalks are kind of heavier, thicker stalks. Most of the stuff that I have is fairly fine. And right now there's a little bit of stinky stuff in here, but not too bad. So I just wanted to show this real quick. And so that's all I'm doing at this point. And I'm running the rinse water into the tank and then just let it drain out the drain. That way it just drains out into a pool. And it's alongside of my walnut tree, so this will be some good water for the roots of the walnut tree. Help feed the tree. It's got a lot of good stuff in it, so can't be of any harm. Fibers are definitely coming off the stalks. Some of the wraps for the stalks are coming off. After they dry and stuff, they don't hold up. The wraps I used for tying the bundles when I harvested them. But that's okay. So I think this batch is going to be just fine for processing and breaking once I dry. I think we're going to get some good results. And some really fine quality fiber from all this. Some of the other folks doing this, they're doing breaking fiber from 7 years ago, and those are not the highest quality. These ones here are really nice. So again, some more thicker stock bits of flax. Pretty long. Bugs, dead bugs, things like that. So anyway, I'm wanted to get a show here to show you the stage of prepping the fibers and just making sure that everything's rinsed and ready to dry. Putting them all on a stack. So putting everything in a stack out there. So I'm going to close this down and we'll set everything out to dry and then we'll be back. So we are back. I went ahead and reloaded the tank. And I stacked some lumber up in a framework around because this is going to float. But we want to keep the flax under the water. Then I have 2 boards up on top that rest across the whole tank. Then I have 2 blocks, paver blocks, sitting on top of that for weights. So as the tank fills up, flax is going to float. Once it can't float past the weight that's holding the framework will hold the flax under the water as I fill the tank up to the brim. And then we'll start our process of retting over again, and it will take another week, probably 5 days I'm going to try. So what I did today is like 5.5 days, 6 days, and we'll see how well that goes. And so the first 24 hours will create a lot of foam, and then after that the foam starts to subside, but it's kind of like fermenting. There's a lot of activity going on in the tank, and I don't really have to inoculate with prior water. I can just put new stuff in and keep going because it's still going to have what it needs to naturally give it what it needs to ret. And plus bugs fall in it and do all that kind of stuff, and they all add to that mix of breakdown material to break everything down. And then it just kind of stops after a few days, and once that's pretty much stopped, then we're done. So this is our second batch in the galvanized tank. Okay, now you can see where we're getting almost full, but everything's now underwater completely, and that's what we want. And we're just letting the water come up. We're going to let it come up to the edge of the tank here, and then we're going to stop the flow of water. But you can see everything in there. Fairly clearly. Come on around to this side over here, not as much sun glare. And that's how that works. And I am thankful to the people up in Chico, Sandy and Doral, for allowing me to check out how they've got things set up, and figured out their way was better, and it's just going to make for a better overall handling and end product. And getting our stuff set up. All right, so here we go. This is some flax spread out on some 2x4s. Get it off the ground, spread it out flat, let it dry. Over here, so you can see all that little ties. I just took them off. Gonna let those dry too. And got some more here. This is all up off the ground. And that's what I have here. I didn't have enough to get all of it off the ground, so I spread a bunch on the ground and up on a board, piece of metal across that to get that up, and the rest of it just spread out on the ground. This is hard, dry ground, and it'll dry fairly quick. So I'm not too worried about it. The stuff on the ground might need to be turned and dried again tomorrow. The rest of the stuff that's up should dry by the end of today. So I should be able to get it up before 7 o'clock this evening. And this is where we're at in the retting process, getting ready to dry it and ready it for the break. And we'll continue from there. Talk to y'all later.